welcome back. There's no gainsaying that we're in the electioneering season and the political campaigns are on. And of course, they always come with some drama, but sometimes the drama leaves a sour taste in the mouth. Speaking of which, reports of attacks by some political thugs in Surulere some days back. And of course, political parties, the main parties in Lagos, are trading blames over who's responsible for the attack. Now, to respond to allegations leveled by the APC that the governorship candidate is the one sponsoring the attack, particularly the one that occurred in Surulere, we have Mr. Ola Aquino joining us this morning. He's the spokesperson of the PDP in Lagos. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Good morning. Let me correct. I'm not the spokesperson of PDP in Lagos. I am a former deputy chairman of the party. So the spokesperson is the publicity secretary.
Secretary.
Right.
All right. Indeed. Thank you for that correction. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
There are differing accounts, but let's start with what the APC is saying. The APC said thugs sponsored by your candidate, Mr. Jide Adediran, sponsored attacks against party members in Surulere. What exactly happened?
Well, that is not correct. Since October last year, we've embarked on word-to-word campaign, and so far we've covered 16 local governments, leaving just 4 local governments to round up. And what we do when we go to those local governments is talk to critical stakeholders, artisans, non-indigenous associations, ulamas, Christian associations, and so on and so forth. And while doing that, while Jandor is doing that, Jide Adediran, our governorship candidate, is doing that, the deputy governorship candidate, Funke Akindele, goes into the market to interact with the women, the market women. That has been the pattern. And the first dose of attack we had was in Alimosho, when Funke Akindele went to a particular market and she was violently chased out of that market. And in the aftermath of that, the market was shut because the yalogers and the handlers of the market were penalized for even allowing her into the markets. That is for Alimosho. Then we moved to Badagry.
Penalized by who?
Well, we don't know, but we got a feeler that the local government eventually even locked that very particular market. Though they resolve it among themselves, but I'm just letting you into the series of events since we started this word-to-word campaign.
Was there any time this issue was raised with the police?
Every issue I'm going to mention were raised with the police. In fact, we do that directly with the Commissioner of Police, this current CP Alabi.
And what's been the response from the police?
Well, the response will always be, we will investigate, we'll do this, we'll do that.
So if this has been, my apologies.
All right.
So if this has been going on for quite a while, as you say, and the police continues to say that they are going to investigate and you do not get the kind of response that you are getting, then what do you make of that? And especially from the police.
You see, it's not as if every ward we go to is what is where we get this kind of attack. But let me just give you more of such, like in Badagry, where we were at Ikoga. There's a place called Ikoga in Badagry. That was the last day of our campaign. And we were about exiting that community when we were attacked by these hoodlums of APC, shooting, throwing stones. In fact, so many of our vehicles were damaged. We were lucky.
And that was reported as well?
It was reported.
Because
in fact,
the
a journalist...
The police responded after that attack, I believe it was in October, saying that
yes.
The party had not yet filed a report.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a police officer, but at least we A reporter on our entourage was seriously injured. In fact, we had to rush him to the Badagry General Hospital.
How do you know it was the thugs, as you say, of the APC?
Well, you see, when you are applying a business, you know when your competitors are after you. So, because we went there to canvass for votes, it couldn't have been any other person.
But there are those who would say, I mean, this is politics. Some would say, some would imagine, some people would just imagine that it is possible that that some elements within your party could want to stage it so as to make the opposition look bad.
No, how can we stage that? How can we stage an event that will damage vehicles, that will run into millions to fix?
Well, there are those who would say it could have gone out of hand.
Well, that is their opinion.
Okay. And from all these attacks you have quoted, you have pictures, evidence to prove that you were attacked.
We do.
And you present these to the police.
Of course, we do. We do. So after that, the attack keeps going on. The last one that happened in Surulere, before that, we were in Koshofe local government. Because this attack happened in mainland, it happens in Agege. The Agege was even bloody, you know. The shooting was so massive that it was only grace of God that we were able to escape unhurt. Then we got to Koshofe local government. There was a particular ward in Koshofe, Oworo to be precise. We were physically prevented from having access to where we were going. The road was barricaded. We waited for like 10-15 minutes, and we got in touch with the commissioner of police, who immediately called the area H commander and Oworo DPO, who sent men to come and dislodge these hoodlums. Then we went to perform what we came to do. So it has been a pattern. It has been a pattern. In the Surulere we're talking about, it was a 2-day program, and the first day, we were in Eponri. We were to start in Eponri housing estate, this low-cost housing estate. And members of our party had erected canopies, chairs to receive us, you know. But by the time we got there, the canopies were already down, chairs were broken. These are on tape, you know, so we recorded them. And we were briefed by our leaders there that talks came immediately after erection of the canopy, and they started shooting, breaking the chairs, threatening that nothing will happen in that place. So when we saw the tense situation, in fact, by the time we got there, a lot of shops and markets, women around there had already closed shops for fear of their life.
But the APC's spokesperson, Honorable Oladejo, I believe, is saying that it is Jando's thugs who fired gunshots into the air at that event.
You don't expect him to say any other thing than that, you know? I'm just telling you our movement and what happened. So when we left, that was our day one. We went to other places. There were no incidents.
Before you exit that, in your reply, your party's reply, you said that the APC's thugs went to the traditional ruler in that area and warned him not to receive
that was in Koshofe.
That was in Koshofe.
In Koshofe, because I didn't want to run through everything for time.
Can that individual testify, you know, to prove that indeed he was warned not to receive your candidate?
He will not. He's a traditional ruler. You know, he's a traditional ruler in an island in Koshofe local government. My local government is an island we have to cross with canoe. And we already have assurances that we're good. We were not even going to him. We were to meet the traditionalists, you know, as part of our critical statement.
So why will he not testify in your favor?
Well,
he was intimidated.
Even if you go and ask him now, he will even tell you that he's not even aware that we're coming, you know, that is expected.
But these attacks are
it's not the only traditional ruler that have been warned not to receive us. And in fact, it's not even our pattern going to all these traditional rulers, because we know that they are more or less civil servants, so to say. But in this instant case, we were not even going to his palace. We were to meet the traditionalists in that island. And the man felt that if we were allowed to come in, it would have meant he approved of it. So, you know what he did? He now told all the canoes that will ferry us across, they withdrew all the canoes. But the place is not, the water is not that large as such. So our supporters came to the other side of the river, and our candidates spoke with them through public address system. So we withdrew. While retreating, there was an incident. Somebody was stabbed by their hoodlums. It was a very chaotic atmosphere. That was before we got to Oworo. Then in that very local government, Funka Kindele was physically rough-handled in the fruit market in Ketu, led by the chairperson of that LCDA.
And you ascribe all of these attacks to the APC?
Of course.
You believe they're responsible?
Of course.
Is it realistic, really? Because you have quoted quite a number of attacks in many parts of Lagos. Isn't this more a rejection of your candidates rather than the handiwork, according to you?
Well, there's nothing like rejection of our candidates. You see, Lagosians are peaceful people, civilized, and in this kind of electioneering, they want to hear from both sides. Lagosians are not violent people. We are not violent people by nature. But all this violence are the handiwork of APC, who feel jittery about our movement and the response we are getting from the people. You see, they have this mindset that Lagos belongs to them, and that they would rather not allow anybody to take Lagos from them.
I'm still a little disturbed by the fact that, I mean, you say these attacks have continued for months from what you have said so far.
Yes.
And you have reported to the police a few times.
We do.
Yet the police has not done anything. The attacks are sustained, and yet the police has not done anything. Are you indicting the police of being a part of this conspiracy against your party?
Well, I'm not indicting the police. You see, in a political setting, the police are always very careful not to be seen to be partisan unless it becomes a very serious issue. But I'm sure they must have been taking some steps on the ground.
My apologies, Mr. Akuno. I mean, you said what happened in Badagry caused a lot of damage. I thought that in law, that's what they call arson, and that someone was wounded. I don't believe there is anywhere in any law in Nigeria that says someone can be slightly wounded and go scot-free. So if these things have happened and these attacks have continued, yet your campaign has not stopped, one, aren't you putting your people's lives at risk without, when these attacks are sustained, and then you don't do anything about it?
Well, we did something about it. We reported. And I think for the police part of the story, maybe you need to invite the spokesperson of Nigerian police, Lagos State Police Command, to come and do some clarification.
Speaking of
But for us, we will not be deterred by this pocket of attacks and intimidation. We were determined to go ahead with our campaign. We have our focus, and we will remain focused. It's not about putting the life of your members.
The reason my apologies, the reason I'm asking, I mean, you said it has been sustained, and almost everywhere you went, these things
not
happened.
Almost everywhere.
Okay, well, you say a few places.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Places.
But
we were in Epe, there was no incident.
All right, fine.
We were in Bejuleki, there was no incident.
Now, concerning the subject matter,
Ikorodu, there was no incident.
The Surulere incident, there are those who indicate that, look, from some videos making the rounds, that the vehicle used, from what Bukola said, that the vehicle that was being moved, that was moving some of these shooters around, was the vehicle with, inscriptions and the banners of your candidate. And these gunmen were shooting at whoever they were shooting at, got into the vehicle, this same vehicle with banners of your candidate on it, and drove away in it.
Yeah, like I was telling you, when we finished the day one, which was a Thursday in Surulere, on Friday we moved to the second constituency, which is Aguda. And being a Friday, our candidate is a Muslim. Whenever we are on campaign tour and it falls on Friday, we make it a duty to observe the Jumat prayer. We were in the Jumat, in the mosque, praying when they came again. The vehicle in question you talk about was snatched from the driver, and as I speak with you, we've not even been able to locate the vehicle. Of course, complaint has been lodged. So whatever happened, whatever you saw on that video, we cannot account for it. For those who are shown in the video or the vehicle, it was in the possession of these hoodlums.
At the time that
yes,
it was
we
being
were in the
recorded.
mosque. Majority of us
So
were
the shooters in that vehicle are not members of your party?
Definitely.
Just to quickly clarify, how many people died in Surulere? The police is saying no one died, but 3 were injured.
That is exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. Right. All right. We want to thank you very much, Mr. Olakwino, for being on Sunrise Daily today. We hope that those issues are resolved and arrests, of course, are made. Mr. Olakwino is the Deputy National Chairman.
No, State Chairman.
Deputy State Chairman, former State Chairman of the PDP in Lagos. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll be back right after this time for more on the program. Stay with us.